Alright, so what we're doing today is we're reading the terms of service for YouTube. As quickly as we can with a little bit of a lisp. Ready? Terms of service, dated November 6, 2023, terms of service. Welcome to YouTube. Introduction, thank you for using the YouTube platform and the products, services and features we make available to you as part of the platform, but collectively the service. Our service. The service allows you to discover, watch and share videos and other content, provides a forum for people to connect, inform and inspire others across the globe that act and acts as a distribution platform for original content creators and advertisers large and small. We provide lots of information about our products and how to use them in our help center. Among other things, you can find out about YouTube Kids, the YouTube Partner Program and the YouTube Pay Part memberships and purchases where available. You can also read all about enjoying content on other devices like your television, your game console or Google Home. Your service provider. Entity providing the service is Google LLC, a company operating under the laws of Delaware, located at 1600 Amphitheatre Parkway, Mountain View, California 94043, referred to as YouTube, we, us, or our. References to YouTube's affiliates in these terms. Many other companies within the Alphabet, Inc., corporate group, now or in the future. Applicable terms. Your use of the service is subject to these terms, the YouTube community guidelines and the policy, safety and copyright policies, which may be updated from time to time. Together, this agreement, your agreement with us, is also included in the advertising on YouTube policies if you provide advertising alternatives to the service or incorporate paid promotions in your content. Any other links or references provided in these terms are for informational use only and are not part of the agreement. Please read this agreement carefully and make sure you understand it. If you do not understand this agreement or do not accept any part of it, then you may not use the service. You may use the service. Age requirements: you must be at least 13 years old to use the service. However, children of all ages may use the service, and YouTube Kids were available if enabled by the parent or legal guardian. Permission by parent or guardian. If you are considered a minor in your country, you represent that you have your parent or guardian's permission to use the service. Please have them read this agreement with you. If you're a parent or legal guardian of a minor in your country by allowing your child to use the service, you are subject to the terms of this agreement and responsible for your child's activity on the service. You can find tools and resources to help you manage your family's experience on YouTube, including how to enable child under the age of 13 to use the service and YouTube Kids in our help center and through Google's Family Link. Businesses: if you are using the service on behalf of a company or organization, you represent that you have authority to act on behalf of that entity and that such entity accepts this agreement. Your use of the service. Content on the service. The content on the service includes video, audio, for example, music and other sounds, graphics, photos, text, such as comments and scripts. Branding, including trade names, trademarks, service marks or logos, interactive features, software, metrics, and other materials provided by YouTuber or a third party collectively. Content. Content is the responsibility of the person or entity that provides it to the service. YouTube is under no obligation to host or serve content. If you see any content you believe does not comply with this agreement, including by violating the community guidelines or the law, you can report it to us. Google accounts and YouTube channels. You can use part of this service such as browsing and searching for content without having a Google account. However, you do need a Google account to use some features. With a Google account, you may be able to like videos, subscribe to channels, create your own YouTube channel, and more. You can follow these instructions to create a Google account. Creating a YouTube channel will give you access to additional features and functions such as uploading videos, making comments, or creating playlists where available. Here are some details about how to create your own YouTube channel. To protect your Google account, keep your password confidential. You should not reuse your Google account password on a third-party application. Learn more about keeping a Google account secure, including what you do if you learn of any unauthorized use of your password or Google account. Your information. Our privacy policy defines how we treat your personal data and protect your privacy when we use this service. The YouTube Kids Privacy Notice provides additional information about our privacy practices that are specific to YouTube Kids. We'll process any audio-visual content uploaded by you to the service in accordance with the YouTube data processing terms, except in cases where you uploaded such content for personal purposes or our household activities. Learn more. Permissions and restrictions. You may access and use the services made available to you as long as you comply with this agreement and applicable law. You may view or listen to content for your personal non-commercial use. May also show YouTube videos through the embedded YouTube player. The following restrictions apply to your use of service if you are not allowed to. 1. Access, reproduce, download, distribute, transmit, broadcast, display, sell, license, alter, modify, or otherwise use any part of the service or any content available or content except A, as expressively authorized by the service, or B, with prior written permission from YouTube if applicable to respective rights holders. 2. Circumvent, disable, fraudulently engage with, or otherwise interfere with any part of the service or attempt to do any of these things, including security-related features or features that A, prevent or restrict the copying of any of other use of content, or B, limit the use of the service or content. 3. Access the service using any automated means such as robots, botnets, or scrapers, except A, in the case of public search engines in accordance with YouTube's robots.txt file, or B, with YouTube's prior written permission. 4. Collect or harvest any information that might identify a person, for example, usernames or faces, unless permitted by that person, allowed under section 3 above. 5. Use the service to distribute unsolicited promotional or commercial content or other unwanted or mass solicitations. 6. Calls or encourage any inaccurate measurements or genuine user engagement with the service, including by paying people or providing them with incentives to increase the video's views, likes or dislikes, or to increase the channel subscribers, or otherwise manipulate metrics in any manner. 7. Misuse any reporting, flagging, complaint, distribute or appeal process, including by making groundless, vexatious or frivolous submissions. 8. Run contests on or through the service that do not comply with YouTube's contest policies and guidelines. 9. Use the service to view or listen to content other than for personal non-commercial use. For example, you may not publicly screen videos or stream music from the service. Or 10. Use the service to sell any advertising, sponsorships or promotions placed on, around, or within the service or content other than those allowed in the advertising on YouTube policies, such as compliant product placements, or B, sell advertising, sponsorships or promotions on any page of any website application that only contains content from the service, or where content from the service is the primary basis for such sales. For example, selling ads on a web page where YouTube videos are the main draw for users visiting the web page. Reservation. Using the service does not give you ownership of or rights of any aspect of the service, including usernames or any other content posted by others or YouTube. Develop, improve, and update the service. YouTube is constantly changing and improving the service. As part of this continual evolution, we may make modification or changes to all or part of the service, such as adding or removing features and functionalities, offering new digital content or services, or discontinuing old ones. You may also need to alter or discontinue the service or any part of it in order to make performance or security improvements, make changes to comply with law, or prevent legal activities on or abuse of our systems. These changes may affect all users, some users, or even an individual user. When the service requires or includes downloadable software such as the YouTube Studio application, the software may update automatically on your device once a new version or feature is available, subject to your device settings. If you make material changes that negatively impact your use of the service, will provide you with a reasonable advance notice to happen in urgent situations, such as preventing abuse, responding to legal requirements, or addressing security and operability issues. Will also provide you with an opportunity to export your content from your Google account using Google Takeout related to applicable law and policies. Your content and conduct. Uploading content. If you have a YouTube channel, you may be able to upload content to the service. You may also use your content to promote your business or artistic enterprise. If you choose to upload content, you may not submit to the service any content that does not comply to this agreement, including the YouTube community guidelines for all the law. For example, the content you submit must not include third-party intellectual property such as copyrighted materials unless you have permission from that party or otherwise legally entitled to do so. You are legally responsible for the content you submit to the service. You may also automate systems that analyze your content to help detect infringement and abuse such as spam, malware, and illegal content. Rights you grant. You obtain ownership rights in your content, however you do not require. We do require you to grant certain rights to YouTube and other users of the service as described below. License to YouTube. By providing content to the service, you grant to YouTube a worldwide non-exclusive royalty-free sub-licensable and transferable license to use that content, including to reproduce, distribute, prepare, derivate works, display, and perform it in connection with the service and YouTube's and its successors and affiliates businesses, including for the purpose of promoting it and redistributing part of or all of the service. License to other users. You also grant each other user of the service a worldwide non-exclusive royalty-free license to access your content through the service and to use that content, including to reproduce, distribute, prepare derivative works, display, and perform it only as enabled by a feature of the service, such as video playback or embeds. For clarity, this license does not grant any right or permissions for a user to make use of your content independent of the service. Duration of license. The license granted by you continue for a commercially reasonable period of time after you remove or delete your content from the service. You understand and agree, however, that YouTube may retain but not display, distribute, or perform server copies of your videos that have been removed or deleted. Right to monetize. You grant YouTube the right to monetize your content on the service, and such monetization may include distributing ads on or within content or charging users a fee for access. This agreement does not entitle you to any payments. Starting June 1st, 2021, any payments you may be entitled to receive from YouTube under any other agreement between you and YouTube, including, for example, payments under the YouTube Partner Program, channel memberships, or Super Chat, will be treated as royalties. If required by law, Google will withhold taxes from such payments. Removing your content. You may remove your content from the service at any time. You also have the option to make a copy of your content before removing it. You must remove your content if you no longer have the rights required by these terms. Removal of content by YouTube. If a reason to believe that any other content, 1, is in breach of this agreement, or 2, may cause harm to YouTube users or third parties, who reserve the right to remove or take down the content in our discretion. We will notify you within the reason of our action unless we reasonably believe to do so. A, would breach the law or any direction of the legal enforcement authority, or would otherwise risk legal liability for YouTuber or our affiliates. B, would compromise an investigation or the integrity or operation of the service. Or C, would cause harm to any user, other third-party YouTuber or affiliates. You can learn more about reporting and enforcement, including how to appeal and a troubleshooting page at our help center. Community guidelines strikes. YouTube operates a system of strikes in respect to content that violates the YouTube community guidelines. Each strike comes with varying restrictions, may result in the permanent removal of your channel from YouTube. A full description of how a strike affects your channel is available on the community guidelines strikes basics page. If you believe that a strike has been issued in error, you may appeal here. If your channel has been restricted due to a strike, you may not use another channel to circumvent these restrictions. Violation of this prohibition is a material breach of this agreement, and Google reserves the right to terminate your Google account or your access to all or part of the service. Copyright protection. We provide information to help copyright holders manage their intellectual property online in our YouTube Copyright Center. If you believe your copyright has been infringed on the service, please send us a notice. We respond to notices of alleged copyright infringement according to the process in our YouTube Copyright Center, where you can also find information about how to resolve a copyright strike. YouTube's policies provide for the termination in appropriate circumstances of repeat infringers' access to the service. Accounts suspension and termination. Termination by you. You may stop using a service at any time. Follows instructions to delete the service from your Google account, which involves closing your YouTube channel and removing your data. You also have the option to download a copy of your data first. Termination and suspensions by YouTube. YouTube reserves the right to suspend or terminate your Google account or your access to all or part of the service if A, you materially or repeatedly breach this agreement. B, we are required to do so to comply with a legal requirement or a court order. Or C, we believe there has been conduct that creates or could create liability or harm to any user, other third-party YouTube or affiliates. Notice for termination or suspension. We will notify you within the reason for termination or suspension by YouTube unless we reasonably believe that to do so. A, would violate the law or the direction of a legal enforcement authority. B, would compromise the investigation. C, would compromise the interior operation or security of the service. Or D, cause harm to any user, other third-party YouTube or affiliates. Effects of account suspension or termination. If your Google account is terminated or the access to the service is restricted, you continue using certain aspects of the service, such as viewing only, without an account, and this agreement will continue to apply to such use. If you believe that the termination or suspension has been made in error, you can appeal using this form. About software in the service. Downloadable software. When the service requires or includes downloadable software such as YouTube Studio application, unless that software is governed by additional terms which provide a license, YouTube gives you a personal worldwide royalty-free, non-assignable and non-exclusive licensed user software provided to you by YouTube as part of the service. This license is for the sole purpose of enabling you to use and enjoy the benefit of the service, or as provided by YouTube in the manner permitted by this agreement. You're not allowed to copy, modify, distribute, sell, or waste any part of the software, or to reverse engineer or attempt to extract the source code of that software unless law prohibit these restrictions or you have YouTube's written permission. Open source. Some software used in our service may be offered under an open source license that we make available to you. There may be provisions in an open source license that expressively override some of these terms, so please be sure to read those licenses. Other legal terms. Warranty disclaimer. Other than expressively stated in this agreement or as required by law, the service is provided as is, and YouTube does not make any specific commitments or warranties about the service. For example, we do not make any warranties about A, the content provided through the service, B, the specific features of the service or its accuracy, reliability, availability, or ability to meet your needs, or C, that any content you submit will be accessible on the service. Limitation of liability. Except as required by applicable YouTube, its affiliates, officers, directors, employers, and agents will not be responsible for any loss of profits, revenue, business opportunities, goodwill, or anticipated savings, loss or corruption of data due indirect or inconsequential loss punitive damages caused by 1. Errors, mistakes, or inaccuracies on the service. 2. Personal injury or property damage resulting from use of the service. 3. Any unauthorized access to or use of the service. 4. Any interruption or cessation of the service. 5. Any viruses or malicious code transmitted to or through the service by any third party. 6. Any content whether submitted by a user or YouTube, including your use of content, and or 7. The removal or unavailability of any content. This provision applies to any claim regardless of whether the claim asserted is based on warranty, contract, tort, or any other legal theory. To the extent permitted by applicable law, YouTube and its affiliates, total liability for any claims arising from or relating to the service is limited to the greater of A, the amount of revenue that YouTube has paid to you from your use of the service and in the 12 months before the date of your notice writing to YouTube or the claim, and B, USD $500. Indemnity. To the extent permitted by applicable law, you agree to defend, indemnify, and hold harmless YouTube, its affiliates, officers, directors, employees, and agents from and against any and all claims, damages, obligations, losses, liabilities, costs of debt, and expenses, including but not limited to attorney's fees arising from your unlawful use of and access to the service. 2. Your violation of any term of this agreement. 3. Your violation of any third-party right, including, without limitation, any copyright, property, or privacy right. Or 4. Any claim to your content causing damage to a third party, in each case except to the extent caused by Google's negligence, willful misconduct, or breach. This defense in indemnification obligation will survive this agreement and your use of this service. Third-party links. This service may contain links to third-party websites and online services that are not owned or controlled by YouTube. YouTube has no control over or assumes no responsibility for such websites and online services. Be aware when you leave the service. We suggest you read the terms and privacy policy of each third-party website and online services that you visit. About this agreement, changing this agreement. We may change this agreement, for example, 1, to reflect changes to our service or how we do business. For example, when we add new products or features, to remove old ones. 2, for legal, regulatory, or security reasons. Or 3, to prevent abuse or harm. If we materially change this agreement, we'll provide you with a reasonable advance notice and the opportunity to review the changes, except 1, when we launch a new product or feature, or 2, in urgent situations such as preventing ongoing abuse or responding to legal requirements. If you don't agree to the new terms, you should remove any content you uploaded and stop using the service. Continuation of this agreement. If your use of the service ends, the following terms of the agreement will continue to apply to you other than legal terms about this agreement, and the license is granted to you by will continue described under duration of license. Severance. If it turns out that a particular term of this agreement is not enforceable for any reason, this will not affect any other terms. No, however, if you fail to comply with this agreement and we do not take immediate action, this does not mean that we are giving up any rights that we have, such as the right to take action in the future. Interpretation in these terms including but not limited to, and any examples we give are for illustrative purposes. Governing law. All claims arising out of or relating to these terms of the service will be governed by California law, except California's conflict of laws rules, and will be litigated exclusively in the federal or state courts of Santa Clara County, California, USA. You and YouTube's consent to personal jurisdiction in those courts. To the extent that applicable local law prevents certain disputes from being resolved in a California court, then you can file these disputes in your local court. Likewise, if applicable local law prevents your local court from applying California law to resolve these disputes, then these disputes will be governed by applicable local laws of your country, state, or any other place of residence, effective as of November 6, 2020.